welcome to Leftist Nerd Reacts. Today we're going to be covering Chainsaw Man Chapter 134. This is the first vid for Chainsaw Man that's going up on this channel. I was trying to do a lot with the format before, but now that we have this format, it's so much faster, so I'm happy to just get right into it. Plot recap wise, it's not too crazy. There's not too much stuff going on. There's obviously a lot of character development and internalization for Denji, but for the most part, it's not too nuts. Really can summarize the plot of this chapter as Denji and Nayuta at home, kicking it with the dogs, talking about whether he should be Chainsaw Man or not, right? Like, that's really it. Towards the end of this chapter, obviously, we get Denji pretty much accepting, like, hey, this is a normal life, kind of feeling guilty that he wants more. And then seeing the news with the Chainsaw Man Church and obviously the student council from his high school going absolutely bananas mode, and then bringing out the Fakesaw Man, or who we, at least fans, everyone is suspecting is the real Fakesaw Man, especially since he alludes to, like, hey, this happened because of the Justice Devil. Now, there are some important things to call out here. There's not too much stuff that goes on in that chapter. Denji basically goes from, yeah, I don't want to be Chainsaw Man anymore because I don't want Nayuta to die and this life is fine, to, damn, that kind of sucks, I want a better life, but you know, it is what it is, to, that's bullshit, that's not who I am, that's not what I stand for, and very likely fighting back. Yeah, there's not too much stuff going on here, but I think it's more important we talk about the important stuff. Important notes. One of the ones that I thought was just really interesting is that the Fakesaw Man is like, hey, this happened to me because of the Justice Devil. Well, as far as we know, the main world knows of Chainsaw Man. They don't know his origins exactly. So it's certainly possible it could be tied to the Justice Devil. But the Justice Devil just attacked recently. Feels a little incongruent. It does also feel like the truth. I feel like Fakesaw Man could have certainly had a better story if he wanted to lie and make a better one, but the fact that he's like, hey, this happened because of the Justice Devil, might be giving us a hint as to what it is or why it is or what's happening. I'd be curious to see if there's something like a Venom symbiote situation where the scale of the Justice Devil, because of Denji something made a Fakesaw Man one. I think it's a lot more obvious now, though, that the student council is obviously working with Fami, and they have whatever nefarious plot they have and whatever goals they have, and the Fakesaw Man is a step to that. That being said, I do think it's really interesting that we basically just got this already. And, you know, I was thinking about this chapter 134 for where we are with Chainsaw Man in the story and Act 2. We're moving pretty fast. I know sometimes it can feel slow, or sometimes the pacing just goes breakneck out of nowhere. But I think relative to where we are plot progress wise, I don't know what the end game is, but we're certainly barreling through in a really crazy pace because, you know, I caught myself this chapter thinking people are going to be upset not much happened or read way too much to certain dialogue. And it's like, oh yeah, because people love it and are invested in this, which they should be. It's a fantastic story. And it's also because sometimes the pacing could just be bonkers. So I'm curious. There's not too much stuff that I think also merits a call out. I think if you want, you could certainly say Denji's kind of character development and saying, you know, is this life okay? Is this enough? Feeling guilt for Pochita. This is obviously a really difficult thing to go through. It's partially survivor's guilt. It's partially the sense of like satisfaction and guilty for feeling satisfaction, guilty for wanting more. It's this idea that you should be happy with your lot in life because, you know, you have more than the worst possible scenario. And Denji, having lived that, I think is a really good metaphor for, yeah, even if you come from absolute garbage, you could still want better for yourself. You could still, it's okay to want better. It's okay to want nicer things. You know, as a leftist, there's this inherent kind of anti-consumerist trend in a lot of our discourse. You know, as far as I'm concerned, on an interpersonal, one-to-one individual human level, I have no problem with people wanting more for themselves. I think people should want more for themselves. I think we deserve a lot more. I think we accept too much for too little. And Denji being kind of exemplary of someone who went through the worst and was just happy with toast and jam and like that's crazy, to now saying, you know, I do want a better life. That matters. I think that really does matter. Denji has not necessarily become trauma free or is perfect or healed, but is at least healed enough that he can want for more. You know, it's a sad thing to accept breadcrumbs. It's a good thing to want the pie. But yeah, other than that, I don't think there's too much to call out. I think it's awesome how much we're getting of Nayuta. You know, we are getting an interesting thing where she is both like a little sister to Denji, like in a true sense. It's, at least for me, really interesting to see how their relationship develops. I'm actually really excited for that. Now to the big question, how did I feel about this chapter? You know, I honestly felt like this was a solid chapter. We're taking a much needed slower pace, being a lot more deliberate. I think Fujimoto understands his story really well and obviously understands how to tell a really good story, and is taking the necessary beat at this moment to flesh out the lore a little bit. We just had a crazy action scene for like 8 chapters, really since Falling Devil came up. So quite curious. I also think it is curious how there's like little stuff that Fujimoto is sprinkling in, like the Nostradamus quote, which was mentioned like 3 or 4 times. Fakesaw Man being bigger, faceless. Like there's a lot of stuff that I think certainly warrants an unpack. I think it's a good chapter. I think there's a lot of stuff to like about it. I think that a lot of things in it are good. I guess really now it just becomes more a question of how does it fit into the greater plot, or how is this going to turn? Don't know. I think it's a good chapter overall, but be curious to see. But that's just my 2 cents. I'd love to know, what are you thinking? Did you like the chapter? Did you hate the chapter? Is there anything that you think is worth calling out? Like Meowie entering into the toilet, total Meowie. My heart for that cat. What did you think? What did you hate? What did you like? What did you dislike? Please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon. To finish off on a good thing, I just announced the Black Clover Book Club. I just finished the Magic Knight entrance exam arc. The first 10 chapters, basically. You can expect a video of that coming this Sunday. If you're a patron, it'll be coming this Friday. If you're a patron, you also get access to my exclusive chapter for chapter notes. They're basically a live journal of what I'm thinking and feeling as I read each chapter. Some of them inform the script, most of them not. They're pretty funny. But yeah, if you're a fan of weekly manga content and book clubs, and in the very near future we'll be doing reactions to shows, we'll also be doing live streams. If you're a fan of any of that, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, Patreon, do all the things. Thank you again. I hope to be seeing you soon.